Hello, hello. It is Takesha here. I am going to post our topic so that you know exactly what is happening. But we are going to be joined by Jessica Miller, who is a business strategist and one of the treasured faculty members for us within the Origen membership. And she wrote a blog post on the origincompany.co that went live yesterday, because today's Thursday. It went live yesterday, all about the 4 essential relationships for creating sustainable business success. So we're going to go even deeper on that topic. Jessica is such a jewel. And when I think she's requested... Here we go. Yay. When she joins us, you will be in for such a treat. So I hope everyone's having a good evening, morning. I know where she is. It is bright and early in the morning. Good morning. Hi.
Good afternoon, evening.
I know. I'm all discombobulated.
Ends of the day.
Well, and I'm going to put in my ear pods just in case it's easier to me. Great. How's it going?
Good. I'm just gonna pre-frame. It's getting ready for school time here, so I may get a little interruption by tiny human, but my husband is with us. So.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. It is dinner time here, so we've got starting school there, dinner time here. Small people are involved. I totally understand. Well, it's so good to see you. So good to see you. So for all of you just tuning in, Jessica Miller of The Inspired Mark, as I said, she's a business strategist and she is one of our faculty members for the Origen membership. And she is located down under. So she hosts our calls for our empresses. That's what we call our members within the Origen membership. They are called empresses because they are running empires of one size or another. And for all of our members who are located in our Australia time zone or neighboring time zones, if you're in the United States, like East Coast, I think it's like 9 p.m. on an evening, a Sunday evening. So even some people might join that if they find that to be convenient. But we've offered that slot and that offering within the last 6 months or so. And it's been really incredible to see people's feedback about their time with Jessica inside of that space. So I'd love for you, Jessica, to just tell us a little bit about who you are and what brought you to the incredibly expansive world of business strategy.
It's a long story, but the condensed version. So I'm a business strategist and coach, and I really support the movement women to step into owning their uniqueness and creating and designing a business that serves and supports them as much as they're serving and supporting their beautiful clients and communities. And really that came about. I have a quite extensive corporate background in business consulting and advisory and working for a lot of larger scale businesses, and then ran a couple of small hospitality businesses of my own with my husband. And it just led to this place of depletion and burnout. And I saw a lot of that in the clients that I was working with. I saw a lot of that in myself, and it just wasn't sitting right with me. And so I think something really beautiful happens when you become a mum. It really shakes up everything in your world. And when I had my daughter, I was just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? I don't want to be out there doing it. I want to be here with my beautiful little baby girl. And there was this pinnacle moment where I was on stage receiving some awards for our brick and mortar business, and I had Charlotte there. She was maybe 6 weeks in her little baby carrier, and she was kind of crying, and everyone wanted to come and congratulate me for like winning the awards, and like, you're so inspiring, so successful. And I'm like, if this is what success is, I don't want a bar of it. Like, this does not feel good. I want to be at home, like snuggling up with my little baby, not kind of dragging her out to these kinds of things. And so that was really for me a huge catalyst of change. And so it kind of started with really informally, as a lot of mums, when they go on maternity leave, look for alternative ways to make an income without having to return to the workforce. And
That
so
was me.
just, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just, mothers group catch-ups became informal coaching sessions, and it really fueled me because I was like, I'm using my brain and I'm with my baby and it feels really good. I'm supporting these women. And so it really organically evolved from there. And I live in quite a small town. We have a population of about 20,000 people in
Oh, wow.
northern Western Australia. So, there was a very limited pool of how many clients I'd be able to support within my local community. So I very quickly had to get online and get skilled in that space to expand my community and my networks. And in doing so, it just opened up the whole world. And I feel like at first coming into that online world, although I had extensive corporate and business understanding, the online world is such a different beast of its own. And so jumping into all the courses and understanding what it takes to build a market online. And again, from there, I was really seeing that there was such a disconnect. Like, you could go into a lot of the programs where there's like a step-by-step of how to create a certain business model or how to do a certain type of launch. And like, they're giving out the steps, and yet everybody would be getting such different results. And I was like, why is this so? And it took a lot of digging and a lot of experimenting with my own clients and experimenting within my own business to really realize that it's not about the process. It's not about what you're doing. It's not about the right step, because there is no right step. It's about who you are and understanding what's going to work specifically for you and your community and your business. And that's where I guess the full relationship piece came into it all.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And if you haven't had an opportunity to read her blog post, it's so great. And that when we think about relationship in business, a lot of times people are thinking about the people outside of ourselves or our network and that sort of thing. Can you talk to us a little bit um, about those four relationships that you spoke about, and why those in particular are the ones that are probably the most overlooked and the most essential?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I think that, as I mentioned in the blog, like, it really, we're so taught in school to look outside of ourselves for answers. And so that translates when we're in business. It's, looking for the course, as I did. I was like, all right, well, what's the right way to build online? How do I do this thing? And or having coaches or looking to industry leaders and wanting people to validate us, to say like, oh, this is the right thing. And I think that, that comes from obviously a lot bigger societal issue of like not having enough trust in ourselves in the first place to be able to step into our own relationship. And that's why coming back to you first is the most important thing, because you can't really have, any successful relationship when you think about relationship with your husband or your partner or whatever. Like, that doesn't work unless you've got a solid relationship with yourself. And
Amen.
the same goes for your business. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, really coming back to you and understanding what it is that makes you you, what it is that lights you up, what are your needs and wants and desires. And, just because you've got a certain skill set or someone said, oh, can you do this for me? It doesn't mean that's what you have to build a business around. And so we get to really explore that. And when you tap into that, it's going to make all the other relationships in your business a whole lot easier. And it's going to mean that you're designing this business specifically to suit you. And it's going to be this like I think of it as like this, you can buy something off the rack and like, sure, it looks great and feels good, but then there's something different about when you get that couture that fits you in all the right places, because it's specifically designed to you. And so it's like that for your business. It's customizing it for you, and it feels good when you're in it.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. I think the second relationship we come into is our business. And something that we can easily step into is, especially as personal brands, we see our business and ourselves as one and the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that can, that can sometimes be a bit full on, because then it gets into really murky waters when you attach things like worth, and if people aren't, you're not getting the sign-ups to things that you want, it can be a bit of a head game. It can also mean that you struggle to step away and to be off from your business because you feel like you're your business. And so really seeing that as like, this is my business over here, this is something I get to be in relationship with. And this was really something that opened up a lot to me last year with the incubator with Kate, and when Nisha came in and presented in our retreat, like really it solidified that that's it's its own identity, and it gets to be something outside of you that you can come into relationship with. And when you tap into that and you stop trying to create and come up with all the ideas yourself and come up with the direction and the strategy, and actually allow the business to communicate with you, to have its vision, it takes the pressure off. Like, I feel like there's something liberating about that. It's like, I don't have to come up with all the ideas. Like, I can just be present in this relationship and the ideas will come.
Yeah, so I love that. Well, and you spoke to, with that second piece, how yourself and your business are separate. And within Origen, we have this body first, business second motto, mantra, mission, vision, value system that we really hold, where it's important for us to see our bodies as the necessary tool that we can't function in a business without. And I love that you mentioned that practice that you learned about within the incubator last year, or year before. I'm not sure. I don't know what year we're in exactly.
Yeah. It's a blur.
Whatever. It's all a blur. But yeah, like just really that practice, especially if someone is, if you've got a personal brand, I see a lot of enmeshment with, I am my business is me. They're working all the time. There are no boundaries. There's no off switch, no on switch. And it kind of turns into something a little more toxic than, the corporate experience that you and I have come from, where people are pinging you like all times of day and night because maybe they're somewhere else in the world. But then we kind of bring that behavior into our business as if it's the same, and business failures become personal failures and vice versa. So I love that. I love that, that note to the differentiation. So then what was the third one, the third relationship?
So that's the third relationship is your community. So I feel like once you've got that solid relationship with yourself and your business, then it's about coming into relationship with your community and tapping into the pulse of them and really understanding what are their needs and desires, what are their unique problems that they're facing, and then layering that with what you know about yourself and about your business. Because again, that tendency is like, we hear, somebody wants this piece of advice from us, or someone says they're good at this, and we're instantly then kind of putting all these tentacles out in all the different directions and spreading ourselves really thin. And it's like, okay, you don't have to be everything to everybody. What is going to feel nourishing for you to give, and that meets them in what it is that they're desiring. And so you can create that beautiful harmonious relationship. And I think going really deep with community is been a huge way that my business has really grown, because it's really understanding people, like at the essence of everything. People, like, we're just all humans, and we have really, we want to be seen, we want to be valued, we want to be heard, and we want to feel that love and support. And when you bring it back to that and you notice that everybody is just a person trying to do their best in the world, it just changes the way you relate to everything. And when you're looking at people like that, as opposed to how can I sell them this, or what can I get out of this relationship, or I want to collaborate with this person, so I'm going to cozy up over here. Like it changes from that transactional to really relational approach. And that's when it becomes so genuine that you create those long-term referring clients. They're people that will repeat time and time again because they just, really want to be around you because they've got that depth of relationship with you. The people that are going to want to collaborate with you because you light each other up and you highlight each other's genius.
So then I have a question about that then. So say someone is like myself, believe it or not, I'm very much an introvert, and they step into the business space or the business world, or they enter a space like Origen or inside of the membership, and you know, they're like, gosh, I don't have a community, or like it just kind of terrifies
Mm,
me to like get myself out there. You know, like what is like like the one thing, like if someone is kind of terrified to kind of reach out to
mhm.
find their own community, and they feel like, you know, I'm too shy, or not, introversion doesn't necessarily mean shyness,
Yeah.
but say if they say I don't have a community, and I don't know if I even know enough, I don't know, like there's so many people out here, like what would be like the one
Mm.
thing that people might do to start to cultivate that community?
That is such a good question. And as a fellow introvert myself, I can resonate with that. And I think that that's something that's been really beautiful about having online spaces is that I feel like if I lived in a city, sometimes I get a bit of FOMO that there's all these beautiful networking events and I can't go. But then I'm like, I'd be the wallflower in those rooms anyway. And so online, you can just reach out to people like, I mean, if you look at my Instagram, I very rarely post or do anything outward on my Instagram, but I'm in there all the time looking at other people's stories and sending them DMs and reacting to what they're doing. And so it's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a less pressure way to do it. And it's just getting to know like one person. You don't have to get to know hundreds or thousands all at once. It's like build a relationship with one person and see how you vibe in the next person. And I think it's finding those places if you are going to be in community that are really an acknowledgement of the diversity of how we all interact. I think online entrepreneurship is very much seen as an extrovert game, and it's how can you be visible and be doing the lives and be the like center of
Yeah.
attention in a room, and finding those communities like Origen and coming in, and everyone is so welcome there, everyone's so friendly and beautiful. And I think there's not that feeling in this group of I can't post or I can't share anything, because everything is welcome and everything's accepted. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just these beautiful spaces.
I know, I've said it so many times. It's definitely a space unlike any other that I've seen on the interwebs.
Mm,
Because over the years, I've been a part of many different groups, and um, you know, a lot of times when you have a lot of female identifying anyone in one place, there kind of becomes this competition, or there's like, you know,
mm,
it becomes this like, I'm better than you, or, you know, you're taking my people, or like it gets really catty and kind of
yeah,
gross, to be quite honest, for lack of a
mm,
better word at 7
yeah,
p.m. Um,
totally.
but within Origin, I've noticed, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because everyone has their own experience, but I've noticed in the 4 years that I've been inside, from the outside and then on the inside, everyone is so supportive and loving and
Mm,
kind. And the people that I know to be like super introverted, or they started with like not a business at all, have over the
mm,
years developed their own community and their voice, and their, you know, even finding a network, a really deep connected network within the membership. um, and it's just, it's so amazing to see. And now with this new offering where people get to have more FaceTime with one another, they get to connect with
mm.
you. I teach a session. We've got the central nervous system healing expert that we spoke to last week here on live. We've got more sessions with Kate that are live. And so I just, I love that. And I love that your voice is in this as well. Um, and speaking to that community aspect, can you tell us a little bit about the space that you hold within Origin? Like how do you hold that space for people every month?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a beautiful opportunity, especially, as someone in a time zone where the not necessarily all the calls in Origin are friendly for a Western Australian time zone. And it's beautiful to be able to still come and connect live. And I think there's a number of us in Australia and Australasia as a whole that come along, and we even get a few stateside. I think LA, a couple from Eastern Standard Time Zone, and coming in to just be. And it's I think because we're at the very end of the month when the whole theme has wrapped up, everyone's had a chance to really explore the theme guide. We've listened to Kate's downloads, we've had the coaching with Kate, had the nervous system and body first, to really just integrate and share how we've integrated throughout the month has been really lovely. And because that call is a little bit more intimate, it has been more of this roundtable discussion style where everyone gets to communicate with one another. Everyone gets to say how what their take and their experience of this month's theme has been. And once we've kind of shared that, we're always able to take inspiration from different people, because as you said, everyone sees things so differently, everyone experiences things so differently, and it's just a really beautiful combination of the whole month coming together. And then, you know, at the end we kind of, you know, have chances for people to jump on if they've got any pressing business related questions that they want some support on, to do some hot seat coaching, and to just kind of wrap it up with some intentions as to how we're going to move forward into the new month, carrying forth what we've uncovered based on that month's theme guide.
I love that. That sounds so not only supportive and helpful, but it sounds like maybe if the world weren't shut down in many places. I don't know how it is in your part of the world. I've got a few friends out in Sydney and Melbourne, and I think like the lockdown situation is different in different parts of Australia, but it sounds like that it's another opportunity for people to really connect. And if the world were a little open, maybe they'd come together, you know, grab a, what do you call it, a cuppa in person.
Cuppa.
In person.
I got like cuppa,
yeah. See, I know I don't even have my evening tea yet. I was not prepared with my tea. So yeah, I love that. And so I think we did three relationships. What is the fourth one?
Yes. So the fourth relationship is then coming into relationship with your work. So understanding how the energy that you're bringing when you're working, right? We all have things in our business that we don't necessarily want to do, love to do. A lot of times from clients or here, it's like, I never do my admin or my finances and my bookkeeping. And so it's like, how can you ritualize these things to bring a different energy to it? So when you're, like for example, the bookkeeping, because I know that's something a lot of people like drag their feet on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, case for it. I'm fortunate to have worked in a large accounting firm, so that's something that, you know, I get a little bit nerdy when it comes to numbers, and it excites me.
Great.
But yeah,
not my thing.
But yeah, getting a playlist together, like getting like some money songs, calling it like a Money Monday date where it's like a block time in my calendar. It's like, how can you make it fun and feel good for you? And building these rituals, building into it. Even simple things like when you're paying bills and stuff, rather than seeing that money's going out, feel like the gratitude is to, you've got that money to reinvest. And that brings it to the point of, you get to decide also where you spend your money. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that I love about business, is not only the work that you do and the impact that you have, but the flow on effect that financial resource allows by being really intentional about what businesses you hire and what organizations you support. And it then feels really good when you're paying out money, because you're like, wow, like I'm supporting this or I'm empowering this. And so that's just like one example. Then the other part of relationship to your work would be also like how you see yourself as the expert. And you mentioned before about how we're like, oh, I'm not quite enough. I need to do more courses, or I need to learn more things, or I don't know enough. And that again is so common, and I see it at all levels. Like I work with, you know, double degree certified people that have a ton of other certifications, and they're still in that stage of like, oh, I just need to go do this one other thing.
One more. Yeah,
just one more. Like when I get this one more thing, I'll be good. And it's really trusting that right where you are at any point, whether you've got degrees or not, whether you've got certifications or not, you've got something to share and you've got gifts to give. And because you've tapped into yourself, you know what they are, and you can embody those, trust in those, and be able to share them, and knowing that it's enough, and what's going to need to transmute will transmute.
So that sounds, because I was wondering too, like, gosh, what is the difference between the work and the business? But I feel like you outlined it so well. Like the work can really be any work, it sounds like, because if you're doing your finances, maybe it's the finances for your household and your business, or maybe it's like just the work of, you know, partnering or parenting or what have you. Like, can you speak to that a little bit? Like that difference,
really,
like how can people draw that line?
I really see the business as the high level. So like the vision, the values, the purpose. It's like that energy of the overarching entity. And so that's really like future focused around what's happening, where it's going. what the intention of this entity and being is. And then I see
Mm-hmm.
the work more as the how, like the day to day, what it is that you're doing, how you're showing up. You know, again, like sitting down to write an email, it's not like, oh, I've got to write an email to my list every week because I've been told I have to. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I get to be in relationship with my community. What do I most want to share? How can I really serve and love and nourish them today? And again, it changes the energy within which you're sending that email, and then of course how it's received. And so yeah, for me the work is really about how I'm being in my business day to day, as opposed to like specifically what it is I'm doing.
Yeah, being versus doing. I love that.
Mm.
I love that. I just started really connecting with the that human being versus human doing in the last couple of years as we focus so much
Mm.
more on doing less. And you spoke to like wanting to get another thing and another training and another lesson and another class. And the thing that I think I love the most about Origen that has really developed over the years is how much content is actually inside. So
Mm.
it's like it's for someone like myself who tends to like to sign up for all the things. I've got all the degrees and all the certifications and all the stuff. Being inside of Origen, like any question that you might have, just about any question that you might have in relationship with your business and some questions about life, it's in there. And
Mm.
we've heard time and time again how just being inside has saved people so much money
Yeah.
because they don't have to necessarily sign up for another, you know, copy program or webinar program or podcast program or whatever. Like it's literally all inside. Um,
Yeah.
so
Good one stop shop.
yeah, it's so interesting. And I mean, it doesn't have like every single thing you can ever imagine, but we're getting there. Like, give us some time.
Mm.
It's only because there hasn't been enough like months
Yeah.
of the, years. Um, but I appreciate you breaking down that separation between the work and the business and the doing and the being, because I don't think
Mm.
people often realize that the way you be in your business and in the work that you're doing really matters. Like the energy that you have, if you're, you know, just like going to that corporate job, if you hated your boss, you hated your job, you hated the drive, and you hated the people you worked with, like it just made the whole day awful. But if you changed your
Mm.
mindset and your perspective of what you're entering into, and, even when it comes to pricing your offering, like people love to pay me for this because I'm so great at it. Like just changing the whole mindset around um, how you're existing and the work that you're doing is like
Mm.
very transformative for sure. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Y'all go read that blog post. It's so good.
Yeah.
Jessica is so smart. We've got a few more minutes. I'd love to take any questions if anybody, I mean, there's just a few people here now live. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the chat about business and relationship. Oh, I see Deb here. Hey, Deb. We've got some empresses in here. Amazing. Now, is your husband on Instagram?
My husband? Yes.
Yeah.
He's probably popped in. Has he? Yeah.
Yeah. I saw, I
I'm
was
the
like,
snoop.
I don't know. Is that her husband in here with a
Yeah.
similar name?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. Lovely. Hi, Pam. He's probably watching downstairs with Charlotte.
Nice. All right. Does anybody have any questions, comments for Jessica? Relationship, creating your sustainable business. Yeah, I better tap into this smart brain here. So good. And I love that you've given us a little bit of your school morning, because I definitely know how that can be.
Yeah.
All the moving parts of getting a
I
person
know.
together and out of your house.
Yeah. No,
And
Fridays seem to be a little bit easier because she's tired by the end of the week, so she's just happy to go with the flow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like we have a whole lot of questions. Do you have any, if you were to say one thing that would help someone who might really be struggling with like their focus around. So say they're just starting with business, or they've been in business for a little while, and all the things that are happening in the world, there's so many things to grab their attention, you know, the
Mm.
the kids and the work and the business and the community and all those things. What is one thing that someone can do to really support how they're able to focus and on the things that are necessary? Like, how do you know the thing to focus on?
So I'm probably going to give a really unconventional tip here. I mean, there's lots of strategies that we can talk about in terms of like how to decide what to do, and Kate shares a lot of those within Origen and on her page. But for me, I always find when I'm unsure what to focus, I'm overwhelmed, there's a ton of things going on and competing for my priority, the best thing that I can do in that moment that I want to offer up is to just stop and not try and do anything. It might be just like go to the beach, go for a walk, go have a quiet cup of tea, like whatever it is, just stop. And when you get quiet, when you get calm, when you're grounded, that's when it's going to be clear what the next step is. And sometimes the next step is to just take it a little bit easier and to not be pushing forward as fast and as hard. And for me, that's definitely been a sign this year, because, you know, I went into the start of the year with all these big ideas of, you know, what I'm going to do and what I'm going to launch and things like that. And every time I take that opportunity to get quiet, it's like, not yet, not yet. Just embody this work and the time will come. And so it's been a really beautiful exercise, and something that we can sometimes get really stuck with, because we look at externally and we see people launching the things and doing the stuff, and we're like, why aren't I doing all these things? But just coming back to you, I think, is always going to be the answer for me.
Body first wins again, always.
Yeah.
I love it.
Can't go wrong.
Oh my gosh. You guys follow Jessica. If you aren't already, you can tap on the little Origen logo right there at the top of your screen and tap on her and follow her work. And I'm just so grateful that you made time for us this morning in your day. Check in with Jessica if you're inside of Origen. Check out the space that she holds if it's at a time that's convenient for you. If you're not in Origen, get on the wait list, because there's so much opportunity for you to connect and learn and grow your business and yourself. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Jessica. Have a wonderful day. Good morning. You've got the whole day ahead of you.
Yes.
Enjoy your day. Thank you so much and take care.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.